Stay tuned because Good Sports is coming up next.
Good Sports was recorded live on Saturday, August 22nd.
Welcome to Good Sports, the Kansas City Sports and Fitness Show. I am Steve Fish. I'm the publisher of Kansas City Sports and Fitness Magazine. Today we're here at Arris Pizza in Lenexa, where they have specials every day of the week. Like on Mondays, it's Gyro Night. Tuesdays, you can get 2 large, 2-topping pizzas for $20. Or every day, you can get their lunch buffet for just $7.99. Arris is locally owned, and it's located at 12812 West 87th Street Parkway in Lenexa. That's about a block east of Flum on the north side of 87th Street. Call Arris at 913-438-5555 or find out about their other specials on Facebook at Arris Pizza KC. Now, before we get started with the show, I want to tell everyone that our current issue of Kansas City Sports and Fitness is available free at over 700 locations in KC. And with this month's issue, KC Sports continues to celebrate our 18th straight year as the Sports Illustrated of Kansas City. Now, in our hockey report presented by the Kansas City Ice Center, we write about the benefits of youth hockey in Kansas City, the benefits they're seeing with the development of the Kansas City Youth Hockey Association. In our KC Baseball report presented by the Surplus Exchange, we interview new Royals Johnny Cueto and Ben Zobrist. Now, you can visit our new and improved website, kcsportspaper.com, to find a link to a list of locations where you can find Kansas City Sports and Fitness, and you can actually check out a PDF of the entire issue on our website as well. Now, I also want to mention that you can now get a free subscription to the digital version of Kansas City Sports and Fitness Magazine, and all you have to do is go to our new and improved website, kcsportspaper.com, and click where it says Join Our Fan Club. Then watch your email for the next issue of Kansas City Sports and Fitness. And I mentioned we're here out at Arris Pizza, and we're joined by someone who's been a writer and a columnist for Kansas City Sports and Fitness for about 5 years. Is that about right?
Probably
yeah.
Right.
He has his own sports stream on the web, and he's part of our Good Sports radio show that's heard Wednesdays at 3 on ESPN 1510 and 99.3. He's James Peuster. He's also known as JP. Welcome to the show, JP. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thanks again, Steve. This is always great.
Oh yeah, it's always fun when you come out now. You were on our show about a year ago, and we said, okay, it's time to get you back. No, you're a tough guy. You're a tough guy to get booked, but let's talk about the radio show that we do together. The first half of it is the audio from what it is that we're doing here, so people will be able to hear that. But what goes on in the second half of the show, which starts at 3:30 every Wednesday?
We try to stick to something timely, whether it's Chiefs, whether it's Royals, whether it's something that's topical. Mm-hmm. And obviously, when you get 30 minutes, you're looking at it from a standpoint of, well, the Royals are, making moves, or they're winning the division. And overall, the Kansas City Royals have made a lot of things going on that have made the team a lot better, made it fun to watch. And then, of course, the Chiefs season's coming up. Yeah. And, again, it's kind of hard to try to balance both because usually this time of the year, we're not even talking Royals. We're talking Chiefs.
I know.
And so anything else kind of topical or maybe historical I love to cover too.
Yeah, I felt the same way because I have to deal with what's going to be on the cover. Right. And usually by July I'm going, okay, what am I going to put on the cover because the Chiefs aren't starting and the Royals are done. But this one, and people will see it on TV, the headline was, it's the most wonderful time in Kansas City because the Royals are doing so great and the Chiefs are coming up, and of course there's all that excitement about that. Now, you've done play-by-play and sports commentary and interviews on the radio. What do you like to do the most?
I probably like play-by-play, to tell you the truth. I mean, you get to get right in the heart of the action. You see it live, especially covering high school sports. I've covered a lot of high school football through the years, basketball, baseball, but I think I love play-by-play probably the most, only because, you do a lot of research. You know how you do research for a show. You do 2 hours of research for 1 hour show.
Right.
For play-by-play, you get a lot of stats. You got a stats guy, and just a lot of fun. I think that's the one fun thing that I do that I actually kind of miss the most. I don't get to do that as much as I used to, but we're going to look to get back into that a little bit this year.
Yeah. So tell us about your sports stream. Where can people find it? And our show is on that as well, but tell us about the stream.
Yeah, you just go to jpegsports.com, JPEG sports.com. You can look and see what I think our show replays at 8 o'clock day and night.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, that's right. But, yeah, you just get on there and go on our schedule. We've got some great shows like Rockers Football this year, again, coming back for, I think it's 4th year. The Frank White Show is coming.
Nice.
We've had that for a while. Of course, our original Sports Schmucks. We got a NASCAR show. We got a national bowling show that started off as a 20-minute segment, but has now gone to 2 hours. And
wow.
And so one of the bowlers was a pro bowler, one of the guys that's our host, the Waz, and a lot of people listen to that. And so we get to travel to a lot of the bowling events, and I've been on ESPN a few times sitting there watching the Sunday event, and people be going, is that you right there behind? Yes,
really?
It's us. So, again, we love our stream. We love doing it. Love being in control. You know how you like being in control. And so we have a beautiful new studio, too, up in the Northland. And so I invite you to come out sometime. You're going to really enjoy it.
I would. I'm just down in Olathe, and I would, we've talked about recording up there, but the hall up there would
Sure.
would be a lot. So let's talk about your article in this month's Kansas City Sports and Fitness. The title of the article is going to have the 70,000 fans that were in Arrowhead Stadium yesterday when we're recording this show. It's the day after the Chiefs beat the Seahawks. They're going to make them angry because the title of the article says the Chiefs will miss the playoffs.
I saw that.
And miss was big. I made it big on purpose. Let's get a disclaimer out there first off, because you put a disclaimer in there a couple of times about your predictions.
Sure. Well, I do the BLT article, which we do for the Chiefs and the Royals every year, branches, limbs, and twigs, which branches are usually solid, obvious picks. Limbs are what you hear people on the radio say, I'm going out on a limb. And then twigs are something that are like my unique or, trying to pick the exact record. My heart wants the Chiefs to be in there. I bleed red in the winter, and I bleed blue in the summer. But, again, looking at their schedule and looking at things lined up, it's one of those things where you hope you're wrong.
Right.
What's great about what I love about the BLT is we, during the whole season, like for the Royals and the Chiefs, we cover it. We go back and look at it and say, hey, am I going to be wrong? Because if I'm wrong, then I'm happy that the Chiefs make the playoffs. If I'm right, then I say, okay, well, I'm not really want to be celebrating, not popping champagne for that. But it looks like a very difficult year for these Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, so let's start off with a couple of good things. The Chiefs wide receiver will catch a touchdown pass. That happened last night, and Jeremy Maclin made his money last night. So that's going to happen. I mean, that's kind of a given.
That's
really.
Why it's a branch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, if that misses, then you're in it. But there's no way we can have back-to-back years with that happening. And, of course, with the Maclin acquisition, that's going to help.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, because they finished second last season, that's what's part of what your analysis is on how they're going to do this year. They've got a tougher schedule this year.
Well, it is. I mean, you think about the way the NFL sets the schedule up. Even though it's really only two teams that's flip-flop, we're talking the difference of a Colts team, or a Texans team and the Jaguars. And again, when you look back at every year, there's only 16 games in the season. So I always say this: if the Major League Baseball season had all 30 teams that were tied with 16 games to go, we would say this is the tightest race in the history of ever.
Right.
Well, in football, that's how it starts off. There's
Right.
16 games, so every game to me does matter. And when you're talking the difference of playing a team like Houston playing the Jaguars, which is a one-game difference, you're talking the difference of possibly making the playoffs and watching it during the postseason.
Right. Now, you say the Chiefs won't win the AFC West. You say they're not quite there yet, and they aren't the team to beat. Why do you see that, and instead you see Denver as, doing that stab you in the gut kind of thing? That
a lot of people are talking about how Peyton Manning can't have much left in him, but he still does. I mean, he just has that touch. It's the same thing they said about Brett Favre and they said about anybody else that's in their upper years as a quarterback. They still have the mental capacity to make things happen.
Right.
I just think, the big question mark will still go down, is Alex Smith a postseason quarterback? Is he someone that can lead us to victory? And covering the Chiefs like I have the past few years, I just don't feel like if we're losing the game that he's a comeback guy. And sometimes I feel like if we're winning, I still feel like there's a chance that he may not be that shut down guy. He doesn't make the interceptions. He doesn't make bad plays that much. But it just seems like we just play to kind of hopefully get the clock to run out. And instead, we've got to win the game. We've got to put them away. And that's where I'm thinking we're not there. Our defense, as solid as I think it will be, is still we're just a freckle short of the postseason. And you see, again, the AFC North, which we play this year, 10 victories may still not even get you in the postseason. And when you look at it, I mean, I don't know if we can get to double-digit victories this year.
Yeah. What's your prediction at this point? Yeah, I think
I said 9-7.
Okay.
Vegas has them at over/under of 8.5, which is really interesting because I would have thought that it might have been higher. But, the last 2 years of the BLT, I've got a lot of the individual things right. But when I got the prediction, I've actually flip-flopped their record. I said 4-12 a few years ago, and they were 12-4. And then last year I said 7-9, and they were 9-7. So maybe if I thought about saying 2-14, it would be 14-2. My dyslexia has kicked in. With the Royals, I'm always a game off. I've been a game off the last 3 years. But with the Chiefs, and again, any given Sunday, and you're going to see that, I think, this year with the schedule.
Yeah. Now, you do say that Alex Smith will have his best season as a Chief. I think it's great that he can run the ball because he looks up and finds nothing and doesn't have enough time for the breakaway to find something. And it's great that he can run the ball, but that's going to take the wear and tear on him and then also getting sacked.
Yeah, last year he got sacked a little bit more. He got hurried a lot more. I think this year they're going to make some – obviously Macklin will help. Here's the thing. If we're losing – quarterback stats tend to get padded a lot, especially in fantasy football, and a lot of people know that. So I think stat-wise, he might have a better season than what he's had before. Doesn't equate always to victories because it could be in comeback mode. I think you're going to see Charles, again, a little lesser load, which I think will also help his stats, which, again, doesn't always equate to W's.
Right, yeah, for sure. So the London game, do you think that's going to hurt him? Because that travel, the time change and all that kind of stuff, I mean, I would expect that even with a pro athlete who's in shape and all that just that's going to be difficult. It's a distraction.
Well, you look at the Royals earlier when they went to Boston and got in at 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
We take away a home game. We take away a home game against a team like the Detroit Lions. If you look at it, even though we got a bye week after that, we're not going to be home for 4 weeks. We're going to have a 4-week stretch where we're not playing at Arrowhead.
That's tough.
That's tough. So when you lose a home game and it's against a team, and here's the thing, I was trying to think, well, who are they going to root for? They're going to root for football. They're going to root for scoring. Well, when you think about it up there, with the offense the Detroit Lions have, they're going to be wanting, highlights like that. We may not have that, except maybe a Charles run or 2 or 3 or 4, hopefully. But I think that's going to be tough. And I think that's going to play a big part of whether or not we gain momentum in that middle of the year, especially when it comes to the bye week. You want to gain and keep that momentum. If we're on any momentum ride, it could shut down there. And I just, I was in Buffalo when they announced that, and we talked to Clark Hunt and all that stuff in the media, and it was like, this is kind of an international thing and whatnot. I still think that any international game should be a preseason game.
Yeah.
It would have the same support. You lose a home game that, you don't get back. And I'm sorry, but in the NFL, home field advantage is a big part, especially with Arrowhead. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I'm not happy about that because I think they might do well and they might be great and it might be a catapult that turns things around or something like that. But I just think that there's greater weight on it could be more difficult and could present more difficulties than the other way around. We're going to talk a little bit more with James Peuster, JP. We're going to talk a little bit Royals baseball in our second half of the show. Right now we're going to take a quick break. You're watching or listening to Good Sports, KC Sports and Fitness Magazine show. We're coming to you from Arris Pizza, located about a block east of Flum off 87th Street. I'm Steve Fish. We'll be right back.
Come on out to the Kansas City Ice Center and skate on the outdoor pavilion or the indoor ice rink. And sign up now for Learn to Skate and Learn to Play hockey classes at the Kansas City Ice Center. The KC Ice Center is located 2 miles west of 435 on Johnson Drive. For more information on public skating times, to register for classes, or schedule an upcoming party or group event, visit kcicecenter.com or call 913-441-3033. That's 913-441-3033.
With the current trend to live a greener lifestyle, many people and businesses now recycle their electronics. At the Surplus Exchange, your e-waste will never go to a landfill or incinerator, nor will we allow e-waste to be shipped overseas. Some companies employ this tactic and end up polluting other countries with our waste. All materials are safely tracked, destroyed, or reclaimed right here in the U.S. The Surplus Exchange is Kansas City's link between industry, charity, and the environment. To find out more, visit surplusexchange.org.
These days, we're all so busy, and many of us ignore our health and let stress turn into chronic pain. Dr. Lynn McIntosh of Kansas City Chiropractic can provide you with the proper care to relieve pain and stress, improve your health, and get more out of life. And right now, get a free deep tissue laser treatment with your initial visit. Just mention KC Sports when you make an appointment. For more information on Dr. McIntosh and Kansas City Chiropractic, call 816-753-4600 or visit kansascitychiropractic.com. Experience a touch of the Ozarks at Winterstone Golf Course in Independence. And sign up now for Winterstone's Major Series tournaments. And visit winterstonegolf.com for daily specials and great offers. For tee times, go to winterstonegolf.com or call 816-257-5755. People today use hundreds of sources to find local information online. Have you Googled yourself lately? Bad online comments can irreparably damage you and your business. For a free online strategy review, contact Market Leverage at 816-600-0564. That's 816-600-0564. With your coupon at KC Sports Magazine, 2 golfers can play with cart for just $56 at Heritage Park or Tomahawk Hills golf courses in Johnson County. For tee times, visit heritageparkgc.com or call 913-829-4653 or tomahawkhillsgc.com or call 913-631-8000 and take advantage of the 2 for $56 special offer in KC Sports Magazine. Whatever your sport, maximize your performance at Core Strategies Physical Therapy, Sports Performance, and Medical Fitness Center in Overland Park. The team at Core specializes in rehab and performance training for all ages and activity levels. To learn more about Core's sports-specific programs, visit coreptkc.com or call 913-322-4000. Eagles Landing Golf Course is the place to play golf in the Southland and get golf ready at Eagles Landing. Sign up for 5 group lessons for $99. For more details on tournaments or memberships or to set up a tee time, visit eagleslandinggolfcourse.com or call 816-318-0004.
Welcome back to Good Sports, the Kansas City Sports and Fitness Show, the show that complements Kansas City Sports and Fitness Magazine. I am Steve Fish. Today we're here at Arris Pizza in Lenexa, where they have specials every day of the week. Like on Wednesdays, they have a buy one pizza, get one half off special. And on Thursdays, they have a select bottle of wine for just $10. Every day you can get their lunch buffet for just $7.99. Now, Arris is locally owned, and it's located at 12812 West 87th Street Parkway in Lenexa. That's about a block east of Flum on the north side of 87th Street. You can call Arris at 913-438-5555. You can find out about their specials on their Facebook page, Arris Pizza KC. Now, in our current issue of Kansas City Sports and Fitness, check out our Youth Soccer Report presented by Market Leverage. This month we interview former Chief Duron Cherry, who is behind the Gateway Village Sports Complex that's coming to Grandview. And in our Health and Fitness Report presented by the Rowe Neurology Institute, we show how sleep can help athletic performance. We give running tips and tell you how to beat the heat. And now you can find out how you can win a Chiefs NFL flag by registering on our website, kcsportspaper.com. You can also register by liking our Facebook page, which is Kansas City Sports and Fitness Magazine, and by following us on Twitter at KC Sports Mag. And you can pick up your copy of Kansas City Sports and Fitness at over 700 locations, including Core Strategies, Physical Therapy, Arris Pizza right here in Lenexa, at most golf courses in KC, and you'll always find it at the Kansas City Ice Center. Now, coming up on August 29th, we'll be at Core Strategies Physical Therapy. They are located at 103rd Street, just east of 69 Highway in Overland Park. On September 19th, we'll be at a Heartland Fencing Tournament at Notre Dame de Sion. And also, in a date to be determined in September, we'll be back out at the Kansas City Ice Center. And, of course, the KC Ice Center is located 2 miles west of 435 on Johnson Drive. Now, if you have a business and you're interested in having us come out and do our show at your business location, call Good Sports at 913-764-2050. And now you can view Good Sports on YouTube. All you have to do is search for the Good Sports KC channel. Now, we're joined by one of the writers for Kansas City Sports and Fitness, James Peuster, also known as JP. He does the second half of our radio show that you can hear on ESPN 1510 and ESPN 99.3 on Wednesdays at 3 o'clock. Again, thanks for coming on out here, JP. I know you have a very busy schedule and all that, and you're here joining us today, and I appreciate that. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the Royals. Actually, we could talk a lot about the Royals. It's just been an amazing run, and I know you bleed. You said that earlier. You bleed blue. What a dominating team.
Yeah, it's been almost like a playoff atmosphere at the K all year. I mean, they hit the ground running. We talked about it at the beginning of the year that if the Royals get off to a slow start, I think that momentum from last year might have fizzled. It has, and you see all of baseball still adopting these Royals. So we're pretty excited about watching this Royals. It's fun to go out the K. It's fun to go on the road. I've gone on a lot of road games this year, Angels and Chicago and Oakland, and you see a lot of blue fans out there, and that's something that's awesome. This is like one of the most exciting times for me as a Royals fan, even from the '85 World Series when I was 18 years old to now as a grown adult. Where I can afford to go to the games now. Back then, you just snuck in GA if you could.
We can do the math now, and everybody can figure out. What did you project? We talked about your branches, limbs, and twigs that you did for the Chiefs, but what did you project for the Royals for this season?
I had us winning the division and had an 89 wins. So I think they're obviously, unless they play less than 500 ball, are going to bypass that. They're looking at 92, 93, 94 wins. Could still get 100, but it'd have to be a big run. But, yeah, I had 89 wins, winning the division, and I think right now the division win's going to be good. I'll be fine if we blow past that 89.
Yeah, you and everyone else in Kansas City. Let's talk about some of the players on the team, and some of them you might have very good things to say about them. Others we might be questioning whether they should stay with the team. The first one, and I mentioned him first because I think he's been exceptional, is Kendrys Morales. When you do everybody loved Billy Butler, but Morales has just been a great find.
Yeah, he had good stats leading up to it. The problem with Morales is he's always having to play first base. And so being after his foot injury after that walk-off grand slam a few years ago in Angels, I think that was just a great pickup. We got him for a good deal. And he fits so well in that lineup with Ned's roster and lefty-righty. Sometimes he's a switch hitter. Yeah. And I think the difference between him and Butler, we have already forgotten Billy Butler. Yeah. It was still nice to see him come to Kansas City and everybody was rooting him on. But, we've got a good one there. He was a good one before, and I think he's found a great fit for both us and him.
Totally agreed. And then there's the MVP of probably the American League, Lorenzo Cain. You had mentioned when we were off the air, he's just one of your favorite players for sure. So
he's my wife's favorite player. She's the Cain is able girl. If you ever see Cain is able signs, that's Peg. That's my wife, Peg. And you know what? I think he's that inspirational leader, not from maybe a leadership perspective, just on the field, the way he plays, the way he's passionate about the game. And that's huge, and especially, we've seen him, and that was one of the things we projected before, is he's finally going to really come up and get it done, and he's getting it done this year. And you're right. I mean, you saw him in the All-Star game. A lot of fans outside of Kansas City really root for Lorenzo Cain.
And the amazing thing is, I know he played baseball before he was a teenager, but he really didn't play organized baseball before he was a teenager. Yeah. And you have to say, wow, what a skilled athlete, obviously. What an incredible athlete. Mike Moustakas has gone from a guy that they said should be sent down to the minors last year, when he was, to a guy that is performing way above what was expected of him.
Yeah, you hate to give Ned a lot of props, and I'm okay with it.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm good with it. Batting him second, we all thought that was the absolute most ridiculous thing we've ever seen, and we seen Moustakas get it done. And we had said that in our BLT that he was definitely he had to have a better year. There was no way he could go down, but definitely an integral part. And again, the fans love him. His defense is solid and a great fit for us in Kansas City.
Yeah, Salvador Perez is kind of the spirit of the team, and it's just amazing. I mean, people will post. He uses the social media in such a way that everybody's got to love him. Yeah,
he is a joy. The Royals are blessed to have him locked up for a while at the price that they did, the way that he handles. My concern is, again, if you ever watch him, and almost every time somebody swings, he does squinch down and he closes his eyes. Josh Hamilton's hit him in the back of the head a couple times. A lot of balls in the dirt. One of these times, again, I'm afraid of an injury, but you can't live on that fear. And hopefully he's not going to wind down this year like he did last year. Yeah. Giving him some rest is probably a good thing. What about Alex Gordon? He's going into rehab. He's got his assignment, and I think he's going to Omaha. We haven't lost a step with Alex going away. We've got guys in the lineup that have really stepped up. So, the question is, they're talking about making him a Royal for life. Do they need to? Well, he's asking for a lot of money. Yeah. And here's the deal. That shows you that we're a team, not a group of great players. And so when a team member goes down, everybody fills the void. And I think if you're the agent for Alex Gordon, you got to kind of look at it and say, hey, wow, this is this team plays good with or without me. You've seen Dyson step up. Orlando comes in, gets some big hits. Zobrist acquisition's been great.
Right.
And I don't think now we have to rush Gordon back. At the time of the injury, I was like, there goes our momentum. But again, it's one player out of 25. And so the way the Royals play, somebody can take a rest, and we still either win together as a team or lose together as a team.
Yeah, the biggest concern that I have with him coming back is he's not he's not going to be as sharp as he was when he left. And is that going to hurt the team to get him back into shape? I mean, he needs to do it, but is because he is our regular starter. Is that going to be the frame of mind that Gordon has to be out there, whereas the other guys might be performing at a better level?
Well, I think
it'll play out fast.
It'll play out fast, and we'll know. I mean, we'll know if he's missing a step or two.
So the biggest issue, I think, is the pitching, the starters. Ventura has been inconsistent. Duffy's been inconsistent. Johnny Cueto had a bad outing last night when we were, this show will air a couple weeks from now. Is the pitching good enough to get us where we need to be for we're in the playoffs. We already are in the playoffs,
right.
but beyond that.
Yeah, that's a big. And who do you pick? You kind of have this Russian roulette of pitchers that go out and get maybe one good start, one bad start. So, in the postseason, a bad start could be the difference of you not getting to go any further.
Right.
So, we got Cueto for that reason. His postseason numbers really weren't as solid as a lot of people maybe were thinking about. But I think, from a team atmosphere, I think we've got a good one. Volquez. If you had to pick the big three, I mean, I'm going, okay, you got to take Cueto, maybe you take Volquez. Now what do you do?
Right.
Guthrie's the guy that gets you 6 innings and 4 runs. You
right.
just know you're going to have to score 5 if Guthrie's starting. Duffy can get hot and cold, but Duffy in the postseason last year looked like a deer in a headlight. So, I don't know. I kind of joke. I said, let's just run 2 starters and run our bullpen half the time.
Yeah.
But
well, even the bullpens had a couple of slip-ups, and of course the tolerance for a bad performance in Kansas City with the fans is, it blows up on Facebook right away. And the bullpens had a couple of bad performances. Is that an issue?
Well, the HGH show last year was such a highly publicized, with everybody below a 1.5 ERA. You knew those expectations weren't going to get hit this year. You can't be that good. I think was really interesting when we let go Jason Frazier, who had a 1.50 ERA at the time, I think 1.54. I was kind of shocked by that. I'm thinking, this guy's solid. I mean, he's a veteran, and so now we're kind of going with this, Davis has had a hurt back. He took a break for a while. Holland hasn't been Greg Holland this year. I think a lot of us during the trade deadline thought maybe a Holland could be traded, and let's just elevate some other part of the, another starter or something. But, here's the deal. I mean, you're going to go through bad spurts. And I think just because our expectations of our bullpen have been so high that now we're in a position where, when they're kind of back to, they've hit their kryptonite, which is being at a 2.5 ERA, which is still solid, we're going to have our ups and downs. We're still winning ball games. That's all I know. So if a bullpen's failing, but our starters are there, or offense is there, or whatever, as a team, we're still winning ball games.
Yeah, we got about 30 seconds or so.
Gotcha.
They're going to make the playoffs. We all know that. In October, who's going to be their biggest challenge to get to that World Series? I was reading that Toronto, the Blue Jays, they had trouble with the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays made some acquisitions. Do you see that, or do you see somebody else?
I think I think if I'm Ned Yost and Dayton Moore and all that, you worry about yourself. You could be your own worst enemy, because you see what we did last year. We destroyed through the Angels and the Orioles to get to the World Series. Yeah, maybe Toronto. The Yankees always have that mystique about them. You never know. Houston with their young staff and young players, they're pretty fired up too. So I would say the Royals would be their own worst enemy.
Well, let's hope not.
Yeah, I hope not either.
Let's hope not. That'll do it for our show today. My thanks to Arris Pizza for hosting us, and to KC Sports and Fitness writer James Peuster for joining us. Be sure to join me, Steve Fish, again next week at the same time for Good Sports, the Kansas City Sports and Fitness Show, and check out some of our other shows on YouTube. Search for the Good Sports KC channel. So until next week, be sure to read all about sports, health, and exercise in Kansas City Sports and Fitness Magazine. You will find it all over Kansas City, and it's free, so pick it up today.
Are you a migraine sufferer living in Kansas City? Are you tired of trying medication after medication and nothing seems to work? Rowe Neurology Institute can help you. Dr. Vernon Rowe has been treating migraine patients in Kansas City for 30 years. At the Rowe Neurology Institute, we control migraines for 90% of the patients who come to see us by figuring out what triggers their migraines, rather than just prescribing pills. Make an appointment today with Rowe Neurology Institute and start taking your life back.
Bring basketball fever to your own backyard or your driveway with your very own game court from Sport Court of Kansas City. Game courts can also be installed for volleyball, racket sports, soccer, tennis, or roller hockey. For more details, call Sport Court at 913-963-7529 or visit sportcourtkc.com. Sign up now for the Niles 5K Run Walk on Saturday, September 26th. Proceeds from this fundraiser benefit Niles Home for Children. Since 1883, the Niles Home has helped rebuild lives and renew hope for children and families in our city. For questions and to register for the event, visit nileshomekc.org. Now you can view our shows and past shows on YouTube. Search for the Good Sports KC channel.